To you by Kennedy Media and Entertainment, your premier video productions and digital visibility partner. I had to become what I needed. This is like a birthday celebration. We're going into the birthday and the birthday weekend. So yay. And thank you to everybody who has already sent me messages, all the cards, the likes, the loves, everything that you have done and supported me. Yes, for all of these years. So it's never been about me. So today I had to, get in there a little bit. Y'all already know that I cheer for y'all, right? And I couldn't let it go by without marking this time because it's more than just about pictures and cake and cameras. And if you know me, you know my heart. And if God has trusted me with anything this year, then I want to leave something behind that's worth more than a birthday wish. Yeah. So let me ask you the same question I've been asking myself like this whole year. Who are you becoming while you're busy becoming everything for everybody else and what everybody else needs? Now, don't answer too quickly because we have become so good at the quick answer that you really need to think about it. Answer the question about what we do. Yeah, we know there's some business owners, some mothers, fathers, you have leaders, speakers, caregivers, right? C-suite owners, your speakers, your coaches, your consultants, all of that. But who are you beneath all of those titles? Who is God shaping when nobody is applauding? Who is growing when nobody is watching? See, that's the conversation. That's the birthday conversation I wanted to have. The older I get, the less interested I become in counting the years, but more interested in becoming and counting the grace. Yes, because every year didn't just make me older. Every year introduced me to another version of myself. The same version in the different versions that are stronger, the versions that are scared, even while smiling. See, carrying the things that nobody else knew about. And some versions, I had to learn how to trust God over again. Yeah, I said it. Can I tell you something that took me years to understand? Growing older, yeah, that's automatic, but becoming is intentional. While somebody, they write those things down. When you get older, it's automatic, but becoming, it takes surrender. It takes honesty. It takes letting God keep working in places that you rather pretend that they didn't exist. I look back over my life, the good, the bad, and yeah, I say the sometimes ugly of really what felt hard places. And I can honestly say that every year I get stronger. I wouldn't want to erase those things because they truly have helped me to become who I am, because every chapter reveals something about what God had to do and that I had to learn it, right, another way. Every disappointment taught me something about success and what it could never teach me. Every delay developed something, with promoting that could never do. Every closed door protected something that I didn't even know that I needed protecting from. And I know that I've lived long enough, y'all, 58, long enough to look back, and I can finally say that, Lord, you knew exactly what you were doing. And I really know that, right? When I think about it, people hear me say, I had to become what I needed when I'm giving testimony. Some think it's a quote, some think it's about the branding, but no, it is truly a part of my testimony. There were seasons when I kept praying, Lord, send me somebody who understands, send me somebody who believes in me, who reminds me that my voice matters, somebody who sees what I'm carrying. And maybe you've prayed those prayers like me too. And I'm grateful that God has been showing me and revealing things over and over, and not because I needed attention or I was tired. I was tired of carrying what nobody else could see, tired of trying to hold everything together. Y'all know my self-firsters, tired of wondering if anybody really understood the weight that we carried. I know that place. And one day, while I was praying, one of those prayers, it was as if God lovingly interrupted me, not with an answer, but he actually did it. He is wise. He did it with a question. What if I'm not sending the person because I'm creating the person? That's the question. The question didn't just challenge me. It changed everything for me, because earlier we want to wait and something else arrive to accept that God may be calling you to become the encourager, which a lot of you are, the listener, the leader, right? Be the example, the voice. Hello? The answer to the prayer that somebody else has been praying. So sometimes when we're asking, God is building us to become that thing, because sometimes we're asking God to send what's already growing on the inside of us. And I can testify to that today. Thinking about it, thinking maybe the breakthrough isn't waiting for another opportunity. Maybe the opportunity has been waiting for another version of us. Huh? Tell me y'all loving this. This is how I'm feeling, and I'm so grateful. That changed the way I looked about everything. It changed the way I lead, I serve, I build. That work, if you allow it to work, it will work on you. It changed the way I see people. It even changed the way I see visibility. Y'all know I'm about visibility, because visibility isn't about being famous. Honestly, visibility is about stewardship. If God trusts me with something that can help somebody, why would I leave it hidden? If you don't know that, you need to know that today. It's not about an ego. It's not about followers. It's not about an algorithm. Because somebody needs that healing. Somebody needs that help. You are somebody's answer. You're somebody's next step. Maybe connect to the story, the lesson, the piece of wisdom that's still sitting quietly on the inside of someone who's waiting until they feel ready. Can I lovingly tell you something? Ready is a rare feeling. Ready usually is the moment obedience when you say yes, right? And then confidence kind of catch up. I say confidence, you kind of have to exercise that muscle. And if I'm completely honest, I still live in that all the time, because I'm constantly growing and evolving. Not 30, 40, heck, not even at 58. As long as God is still has breath in my body, he is constantly preparing not only me, but he's preparing you for another layer of surrender, another lesson, something to learn, another opportunity to trust him a little more, a little deeper than we did yesterday. And that's what makes me smile today. Not because I have everything figured out, because y'all know I certainly do not. But I smile because I am grateful. I smile because of where he has brought me from. I smile because of the mountains and the valleys that he's taken me high, and he's protected me and kept me when I was low. Through every celebration, through every tear, God never stops working on me. And that's worth celebrating. One of the beautiful things about birthdays is they have a way of making you stop long enough to remember. Never forget. God has brought you from a mighty, yes, we go to church, a mighty long way. And if I had to be honest, some things we may not remember, but we remember long enough to know that God has been faithful. Remember long enough to know that he has not left me and he has not left you. Remember long enough to even know that sometimes we can't see his hand, but we have to trace his heart. Can I tell you my not so secret sauce? If you haven't guessed by now, it's gratitude. Not the kind that show up when life is easy, not the kind that is based on whether things are working out as I planned, but the kind that is rooted in remembering what he has done before, that we know he's going to do it again. And he's done it time and time again. I remember his goodness when disappointment tries to become louder than the hope. I remember his goodness when fear tries to whisper in my ear. I remember all of the good things of who he is and what he has done for me. God has proved himself faithful in ways that I can't even explain. I can't even articulate it. I've learned something. Memories have a way of strengthening faith. That's why I don't push past what God has already done. I stop, I remember. And sometimes I laugh. And as y'all see, if I talk long enough, I will cry. I just have to sit quietly in his presence. And yes, sometimes I don't even sing, even though y'all know that is my heart. And he has made me and given me a song. Because worship, I tell people, Jesus saved my soul, but he gave me music and worship to keep my mind and bless me with that talent, right? Because what is that thing for you? What does that look like for you to keep your mind? that isn't just about saying it, it's how I've had to survive, because worship is a way of remembering that God is still God, even when life doesn't make sense. I believe it was David who once said that if I would faint unless I had believed to see the goodness of God, right? In the land of the living. I understand that scripture so much differently now because I am wiser. There are times when I admire it. That's times when I lean on it. And I've lived long enough to know that there's moments when I remember the goodness and what keeps my feet planted. I need to ask you something. What if the breakthrough isn't another answer? What if it's remembering the last time God made a way? What if it's sometimes when we're asking for a new evidence while overlooking a lifetime of faithfulness? How about that? That's one of those moments that you don't just rush past. You look back over this, and as I look back over this past year, I am grateful. I'm grateful for every opportunity. So thank you. Thank you for every speaking engagement, every client, every person that has allowed my voice to assist you in some way of being your better self. Thank you for every invitation. Thank you for every no. Thank you for the good and the bad relationships. Thank you for my clients. Thank you for all of the conversations, for the people, for my mentors, right? My mentees. Thank you for every room that I've been able to plant my feet in. I'm honestly so grateful. Those moments stay with me because long before a camera recording, something happens, and something happens deeper. Confidence, it starts to return. Clarity, it starts to rise. Purpose starts to make sense again. When you think about it, when you think back, that's why I still love what I do. Not just because it's production, but because I get to witness transformation. I get to watch somebody else realize their story matters. Your experience is not wasted. Your voice has value. Those are moments that, as you get older, I will never forget. Let me tell you something. When I think about what my birthday has taught me, to stop waiting until becoming and stop waiting for things to be perfect. God goodness in us will postpone the joy. Celebrate now. Always be grateful. And I love it. And I thank y'all. So today, do something today that your future self will thank you for. Thanking God for the gift of breath and of life, and for just protection, right? What if today is the very answer yesterday's version of you had prayed for? Sit with that. The house may not look exactly like you imagined. The business may be still growing. You're still healing through some things that may have happened. The dream may still be unfolding, but look how far you have already come. We have got to give God some credit. And if I didn't want the mic to echo, I would be clapping up in here. And God still has some unfinished business and a complete work to finish in you, just like me. One of the greatest gifts of maturity that has been given is the ability to celebrate progress without demanding perfection. Maybe that's why this birthday feels so different. I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. I'm simply trying to be faithful with my time, my family, my voice, every opportunity God has placed in my hands, because I've learned faithfulness reaches places fame never will. And when all of this is over, and when all of this is said and done, I want to know that He is saying, well done. Thank you for celebrating this with me. Thank you for all of the support, for all of the things that you do to support Shawanna Kennedy of Kennedy Media. Thank you for the referrals. Thank you. So I hope that as I celebrate another trip around the sun, another new year, that this inspires you to do something today that your future self will thank you for, because you are becoming what God intended. And you have to lean in and walk that path of least resistance so that you can get what God has waiting for you, what God is still working on through you. And if this has helped someone, y'all already know, yes, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you just to give it a thumbs up, give it a like, share, follow, all of the things. There are more things to come. with dealing with the Shawanna Kennedy experience. And I thank you for being a part of that and for sharing this birthday moment that I had to become what I needed. Yeah. And so it's not just about me, but it's about you. Brought to you by Kennedy Media and Entertainment, your premier video productions and digital visibility partner. Working with business owners just like you to be seen, heard, and paid by elevating your brand with high-impact video content, online visibility strategies, and expert social media management. Ready to stand out in your industry, on and off camera? Contact Kennedy Media today, and let's turn your message into a movement, because visibility isn't optional, it's essential. Contact KennedyMediaLLC.com, KennedyMediaLLC.com, and let's boost your brand's visibility. It's time for you to be seen, heard, and known for your expertise. Contact us today.
You're great at this.
Right.
Is that going to be a real? You're great at this. You're great.
Right. Yes. Thank you, darling. Right.